Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today. Hope everyone's doing well and the snow is cleaned up. So we have a short presentation today. We're going to go through some of the high-level priorities and projects and initiatives that we have that are included in the 2021 marketing plan. Then we're going to dive a little bit into some of the specific talking points and establish priorities together for spring and summer of 2021. Throughout this presentation, this is a conversation, so if you have a question, please feel free. Don't be afraid to interrupt myself or Suzanne as we're going. If you want to use the chat function as well, you're welcome to use that. But this is a conversation and a dialogue, so we'd love to hear from you throughout. So to start off with the marketing plan for 2021, for the best way to show success will be to continue to foster that communication and collaboration between all of us here on the call and other partners in the region. Working together, sharing information, any new developments that you have with your business, any change in hours or shift in offerings, any kind of information that you have, to please share that with us. We'll continue to host these quarterly meetings. We had one in the fall going into winter. We're meeting now. We'll be meeting again in the next couple of months to look at the next steps of the stuff that we discussed today. So please feel free to continue to share information. And so we have Suzanne here, our regional marketing manager, that you all know very well. Suzanne, do you want to just speak about the things to reach out to you about?
Oh, definitely. I love it when I hear directly from our businesses and marketing partners about any changes, particularly as we use our insider to get the word out regarding business openings, or at least that was essential during 2020. So if hours change, you have a new exhibit or something happening, don't hesitate to include me in your loop. In fact, it's absolutely essential. So I try to beat the bushes, and I know I'm on the phone with a lot of you frequently, but it would be great if you could include me in your initial plans for any changes that are happening. We're excited to approach 2021 with being thoroughly updated with all local business and attraction information.
So to touch on some of the high-level projects that we'll be working on, one thing that we are kicking off actually pretty quickly here is working on a brand statement development for the Lake Champlain region. So what does that mean? And so we want to work together with all of our partners to create a statement that really helps summarize, how we are describing the Lake Champlain region to locals, to travelers, and it really sets that tone for all of our efforts, whether it's the story content that we're writing for the Lake Champlain region, ads we're putting together, video content. It really helps having that brand statement to always look to that helps summarize and sets that tone for all of that messaging is something that we really want to work towards for 2021. We're the first step to that, and this process, we really want to include the region in the development of this statement. So the first thing that we'll be doing is rolling out a community survey that is typical with a branding process that allows people to ask some open questions like, how would you describe the Lake Champlain region to a friend? It helps vary like the different tourism drivers and helps rank those. There's a lot of really exciting developments happening in the Lake Champlain region. I know Suzanne and I, as we're putting the marketing plan together and outlining some of those new initiatives and developments, we got really excited about those. So, help summarize not just where the Lake Champlain region was with our history and where we are today, but where we're leading in the future. So that first step will be a community survey that we'll be rolling out early next week. That will be sent out via email, via social media. We may do some targeted ads to people in the Lake Champlain region, but this is where we would love help from our partners here on the call and others in the region to help disseminate this survey, because the more responses and the more data that we receive, the more that we'll have to work with as we go to develop this brand statement. One of the other pieces of this project is, is that something? Do I hear a question? Oh, maybe some background noise. And the next thing we'll do as we collect the survey data and start the development of the statement is we'd love to put together a committee that could meet with us. If it's not a huge time commitment, we would have just a couple of meetings to review the data from the survey, as well as the draft statement, tweaking that statement, and making sure that we're inclusive of all the different types of experiences within the Lake Champlain region. So if anyone's interested in participating in this process or learning more, please reach out to Suzanne.
Does anybody have any questions on the brand statement, its purpose, the process?
Can you send me the information via email?
Yes.
Certainly.
So following this call, we will send out a follow-up with some of the notes from this meeting,
Okay.
as well as the marketing plan. And then starting next week too, we'll also be sending out, we'll send another email with just information just about the survey.
Okay, great.
I don't know, Michelle, if you think it would be helpful if I read the Saranac Lake brand statement, or if that's not necessary, just to give everybody an idea of what we're trying to capture.
I think that's a good idea, MJ, myself. But.
Yeah.
Okay. Saranac Lake is a place that is authentically Adirondack and decidedly different. At first glance, it's a historic village where the lakes and the mountains are as accessible as the fresh air. A closer look reveals a downtown with an urban vibe where creative energy flows freely. Art, music, and healthy living help define the culture of this inspiring place, where shops and cafes provide waypoints for connecting with locals. Here is a hub that connects surrounding communities and is all intertwined with waterways, forests, and roads that roll past one scenic vista after another. This is a place where a beautiful balance is struck. It's a nature lover's paradise infused with bold ideas and quirky originality, all done in a way only Saranac Lake can pull off. So that is the Saranac Lake brand statement.
I have a quick question. Am I correct in saying that the Lake Champlain region does not currently have a brand statement?
Read that and circle things.
That is correct.
Hey, Jim, I'm going to mute Jim. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, that is correct. At this point, there is not defined brand statement for the Lake Champlain region. So that'll be the first step with branding, is developing that statement.
Great, thank you.
And it really serves as a roadmap that, that Saranac Lake brand statement we use often when we're writing, refreshing the seasonal copy on the homepage of the website or other pages, or putting together video ideas with a narrative, like making sure it hits that same consistent tone so that all marketing is very consistent. So we're really excited about this project, and Suzanne will continue to have updates. And if anyone is interested in being engaged in this process, the one thing
I've already got 2 volunteers coming through on emails, so that's awesome.
The Saranac Lake brand statement is a great example, one of our recent ones, and because there was a lot of community engagement in that, and from different, people from the arts community, history, different recreational outfitters, it really helped really shape that statement. So thank you. So in 2020, we really started to ramp up our email marketing strategy even more. So traditionally, many of you should be on a list that you receive what's we call our Adirondacks USA email. That goes out weekly, and it includes a story from all of the different regions that make up the Adirondacks USA region. We'll be continuing to do that email as we move forward. You'll still be receiving those. But in addition, we're doing some very targeted, very specific emails to people that are particularly interested in the Lake Champlain region. One of the first things that we implemented back in 2020 was the development of a welcome email. So now there is, if people have not been to our website before or have not been there in the past 30 days, when you first arrive at the website, there's a pop-up window that encourages people to add their email. And that we also do seasonal contests to solicit additional email addresses. When people first sign up, they will receive an email like the one that's on the screen right now that says welcome to the Lake Champlain region. This is just the top of the email. There's also video content in here, a map that helps position and explain the geographic location of the Lake Champlain region and connects them with important information to plan that trip. It will not have these funny percent signs. This is just a screenshot of the development piece. So it'll actually say, hello, Suzanne. Thanks for signing up. So they're personalized. The next thing so now that they've signed up, people have signed up for our email. When they do so, they often will select interests. So they may be interested in fishing, in history, and food, for example. So based on those interests, we will, instead of just sending them an umbrella of all kinds of different information that may or may not be relevant, we're sending much more targeted emails from the Lake Champlain region about, history. It'll be a story about maybe like a historical 3-day itinerary in the Lake Champlain region or whatever different story content that we were writing at that time. So they're much more targeted. We're seeing a much higher open rate if we're sending these personalized emails that are from a region they've signed up for and is information that they're interested in. So, people that are looking for family and adventure travel and people that may be looking for fishing, it may be the difference. So 2 people in the same week would get a different email based on the interests that they've indicated when they initially signed up for the email. And a third type of really targeted email that we're doing is what we're calling kind of a remarketing based on behavior. So we implemented this for the first time for this winter. And so if somebody goes to our website in our email list, we know that they've been back to the website. And so 2 days after they were there, we can send them a winter remarketing email. So it's that email very much mimics our winter landing page and the priorities that we identified together on this call when we met in, I think that was October, when we connected. So, seeing those, last we looked, it was like close to high 40s, low 50s % open rate on those remarketing emails. People are interested at that time, so let's keep touching them and encouraging them to engage with information about the Lake Champlain region. Industry averages are in the high single digits, low teens. So those emails are performing very well. So we'll be doing similar types of emails for the spring and summer season. On Earth Day in 2020, we rolled out what we're calling our Love Your 80K campaign. This is focused, and again, at any time, please feel free to interrupt. We're jumping from some big projects to other big projects. We rolled out what is called Love Your 80K. It's our Leave No Trace campaign that focuses on, being prepared when spending time on our trails and on our lakes and rivers and anywhere in the backcountry. This is a partnership with a variety of different partners in the Adirondacks, including the New York State DEC, the Adirondack Mountain Club, and a few others. So we utilize this campaign to really get information to people before they leave and head in to visit the Adirondacks. So they, are bringing the right gear, picking the right hike or paddle for their skill set. This information we're also, does change seasonally. So right now our focus has been on, the 7 tips for being prepared for spending time in the backcountry during the winter. So they're very focused on winter preparedness. We leverage the Love Your 80K campaign also to help with dispersing hikers from high use areas to other alternative hikes. We've definitely leveraged this a lot to promote the CATS trails in the Lake Champlain region and the wonderful resource and variety of hiking that is available, and develop tips on, paddling and invasive species and other topics that, help create a much more sustainable tourism environment. This also comes with a toolkit, so businesses have resources that they can also help share and amplify that message of being prepared before spending time recreating outdoors.
Any questions on the Love Your 80K before we move on? All right.
So in October, we announced our partnership with Travel Unity, and that we are, along with 4 other destinations around the world, participating in their pilot certification program. Travel Unity is a nonprofit that focuses on diversity, equity, and inclusion in the travel space. So, with our partnership with Travel Unity, it's providing us with a network of experts on a variety of different topics that can help us create a roadmap to being a much more diverse and inclusive destination and communities. Some of the first steps that we've taken with this is, they're providing the Roost team at this point with some educational workshops that we are working through. And as we complete those workshops, we'll also have tools that will be available in information that we'll be sharing with our community partners. We are also currently doing an accessibility audit. And so what that means is we're really looking at really taking inventory across the region of all of the amenities and attractions, boat launches, etc., that are accessible, are fully accessible, so that we can create travel itineraries and pages and make that information available so that we can really touch to accessible tourism. So that is one thing that we're working on now to roll out more information on in time for spring. And so Suzanne, if she has not, maybe having those conversations, and so she's calling and hounding you about some accessibility information. That's one of the things that we're working on. So we're really excited about this partnership, and we'll continue to share updates as we continue to move along the path of developing this roadmap. Any other questions there?
It gets more exciting as we go.
Yes, it does. So just to touch on a few other things that we have going, we will be developing a new Lake Champlain Region first-time visitor page. So adding to the website, we'll be developing a page that's really great for people to become familiar with the Lake Champlain region. It'll include maps and information on positioning geographically where the Lake Champlain region is and how to get there. Be very visually engaging to help people get to the type of content and the type of trip that they're looking to book. So that is something we're working on developing right now, and as that framework comes together, we'll continue to share those developments. Adirondack Wayfinder, that is a new website that we relaunched in the fall, and that really touches to developing thematic road trips and itineraries for people to help inspire travel, but they can also use it and push it to their smartphone devices and use it as a navigation tool. So we'll continue to build out seasonal Wayfinder itineraries. And that is something to reach out to us. If you have an idea of an itinerary that'd be really, really interesting, or something that should be included on the itinerary, or have any ideas there, please feel free to reach out to us to help with those. The nice thing is you can customize them too, so that if you are a lodging property and you want to, share this Wayfinder trail that would be of interest to your guests, you can actually change the starting location to be from your location and share that link that way as well. So there's a lot of different ways that that the trails can work for different properties. Another couple of just notes of interest, we are partnering with the other 7 counties that make up the I Love New York designated Adirondack region to have access to mobile tracking data. So what that is your phones do share information as to where that location is. For example, your weather app, you could be in Florida tomorrow. Yes, I'm dreaming of maybe escaping the snow a little bit. And when you open your weather app, it knows where you are and it tells you the location there. So your smartphone does share that information. So we're going to have access later this spring, and we're excited about this, to really get some interesting information on some different geographic points, including Fort Ticonderoga and Crown Point State Historic Site, to be specific to the Lake Champlain region. That will tell us, where people are coming from, how long they're staying there, if they're visiting multiple points of interest that are within those 7 counties. So you can see that correlation between people that go to Crown Point State Historic Site and maybe White-Faced Mountain and drive up the Memorial Highway. So see that travel pattern. And that data, what we're really excited about, it's going to go back 3 years in history. So, we talked a lot when we met in October about how the traveler in the summer of 2020, anecdotally looked a bit different than previous years. Their length of stay, when they were coming, where they were coming from. So being able to, really month by month see and track that information, and that's information. Once we have access to that dashboard and see how that works, we definitely want to try to share summaries for everyone, so it can help with targeting our marketing as well as all of our partners to understand our traveler even better. And a final high-level note is just a reminder of the Roost toolkit. As we move through the seasons, we continue to add different resources there for all of our partners to use. That includes, those politely Adirondack posters with the Adirondack animals that talks about face masks and hand washing and the other protocols. But we're also adding resources there, like on tips on what to know before you go into the backcountry. There's an example there of, tips for people that want to go ice fishing, information on promoting snowmobiling and the snowmobile app. Shop ADK resources throughout the year will continue to be added there. So that is a resource that we'll continue to keep developing for all of our partners.
Michelle, do you want to go back to the Wayfinder, Adirondack Wayfinder for just a minute? Because, no?
Yep.
Wrong way. So, we talk about creating these thematic itineraries, and I'm sure there's a lot of people on the call right now that might have some creative energy and thoughts around that. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows, please feel free to connect with Suzanne and or Michelle, Suzanne actually, on thoughts on those, Wayfinder trails that could be successful. And, obviously in Lake Champlain, there's great opportunity to move around that region.
Mm-hmm. And also connect to other regions too. So, in the fall, we developed some great history trails. Also, by thematic, sometimes they're based on like one topic, whether it's history or food or art, for example. But then there's also times where we'll do like an itinerary that's based on, people traveling with young children, to more of a, solo adventures or couples, romantic trips. So thematic is like a little bit more broad. So it's really building out, unique itineraries that move people around that region.
Michelle, could you pull up one of those, like the one we just did, the Black History Week,
Yes.
and just give them a good idea what it looks like?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do, and then I broke the system for a second. So here's an example of one that we put together for Black history in the Adirondacks, which features the North Star Underground Railroad. So You can click on the location, learn more about it. It actually will open to their landing page. Or actually, it opens up to, for the Black History Month, we wove together different unique stories for the Lake Champlain, or for the different attractions that told their story a little bit more. The nice thing about this is if I'm coming from Albany, let's really pick an address in Albany, it will reorganize the points based on that location. So if we were coming from, for example, Watertown, let's pick Potsdam. The points of interest, and what it'll do is it will create the shortest loop so that the order of visiting those locations, so people aren't backtracking, they can add a variety of different things on. The other thing is, what's that?
Does that program work with, or can you load in something like if you wanted to spend the night, then it would show lodging along your route and things like that?
Yep. So at the bottom here, there's an add to your trip. And so for this one, it zooms in on lodging. So if I wanted to stay in, let's say the halfway point is around Ticonderoga, and zoom in, you can see where the locations are based on where I want to stay. See some of the different locations. I want to add one to my trip. And now it's actually added that right to the itinerary. So you can modify that. I could also say, I don't really have time, hiking. I'm not interested in hiking, or maybe not this trip. So you can also remove different locations and make your modifications. So I want to shorten that up. I have a limited amount of time to travel, but I want to visit some of these locations. So I've added my lodging. And now if I want to start, I hit start, and it'll take and actually map out all of those locations via Google Maps, which if you also do that on your smartphone, you can sync it right with your car's navigation system.
Are all of the businesses along that way automatically inputted into the system, or do we have to belong to something?
So for the add-ons, like the lodging?
Well, anything. Like we have a marina, and if someone wanted to incorporate boating into that, or see what was along the route that they had already planned.
Yes. So for this system and the way Google Maps, and Jason may be able to talk about some of the technical pieces a little bit more as I butcher them. But we can allow up to 2 add-ons per trip. So for some, depending on what type of trip it is, we'll change what is added on. So for a family-friendly itinerary, we might add on, outdoor recreation or water sports, for example. For a food trail, we're not going to add on more dining, because we may add on short hikes, scenic spots. So you can identify 2 different things to add on to your trip, and every type of business that is in any of the Roost websites and has a listing on those is what populates it. So you don't have to sign up for anything. You'll automatically be added.
Michelle, could I ask a question, please?
Absolutely.
I think this is fantastic. What about if somebody wants to add a site to this? For instance, in Keysville, I know there's Underground Railroad Museum. I don't see this on the map.
That's exactly the best way to do that is contact Suzanne here on the phone with the details, and we can work to incorporate those locations onto these trails.
We actually have a house here in Westport on Lake Champlain that was used as part of the Underground Railroad, and there was a tunnel from the lake up to the basement of the house.
Yes. And can travelers visit the location?
They can if they want to stay at the Airbnb, because that's what it is right now.
No, that's great. So that's exactly, if you have ideas of things to add to any of the trails, that you feel like would be a good fit, to reach out to Suzanne with that information and share that information, and we can work to add that in. Or if you have an idea for, you know, a trail or itinerary that we could also incorporate into one of these, please always
I don't know who runs the one in Keysville, but maybe somebody from your department could reach out to them to add it to them. I mean, you would think the Underground Railroad Museum would be part of this.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. So the museum, the Adirondack Underground Railroad, is definitely part of this trail.
Oh, I didn't see it on the map though.
Yep, it's 0.6 here.
Oh, okay. I thought that was in Plattsburgh. All right. My eyes and my ears are both deceiving me in old age.
That's all right.
Thank you.
So then I'll reset that. So that actually is 0.1. We had modified it while we were chatting quite a bit. So I just hit reset to restart. And 0.1. Whoops. Now I'm making everybody dizzy. I apologize. 0.1 is there.
Unstable chasm.
North Star.
Yeah, it's right next door to the Ausable Chasm.
Yep. So there's the location.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions on Adirondack Wayfinder?
Sorry, Michelle, did I? Oh, wrong way.
I'm trying to. There we are. So, back in action. So there are some examples of some of the larger regional projects that we'll be working on in 2021. And now to talk about some of the key primary talking points for spring and summer. So one thing we have outlined to continue the things that we talked about in 2020 and are looking to continue in 2021, is really having that continued focus on outdoor activities. People are looking for things that the Lake Champlain region is very strong in. For example, fishing, hiking, biking, that's both road cycling and mountain biking, water sports, and natural attractions. And Suzanne, please feel free to chime in on any of these items as well.
We have it all. We're just simply the best.
Also, that focus on historic sites and agricultural experiences. And again, that's as available as things start to reopen and expand more. That's definitely the kind of information as your plans for the spring and summer season start to develop, to share that information, so we can make sure that we connect travelers with the most up-to-date information of what's available, what the protocols are, and developing those scenic road trip itineraries. And in addition to Adirondack Wayfinder, developing that story content and other materials and imagery for our social media channels, for the website, and other platforms that we use. So at this point, and the other thing that will continue to be really a key piece, and we added it in March and continue to include it in all of our emails on the main header of all of our websites, is that traveler update information of what people need to know before you go, what the expectations and protocols are that are in place, anything that people need to know with regard to advanced registration for attractions, stuff to pack before spending time hiking or in the backcountry. That all of that important information will continue to be throughout the year on that travel updates page. And that's one great, one place resource for what to know before you go. So Suzanne, this is the part where you got excited the other day when we were going through this, seeing pictures of summer. We're going to look at a page that we've developed for the Lake Champlain region for the spring and summer of 2020 that we'll look to make revisions to and we'll utilize again this summer. And this was an entire landing page for fishing the Lake Champlain region. And this was used for any like paid ads that were placed about fishing the Lake Champlain region. Were driven to this page. We used it on social media, the main landing page on the website. People could find it that way. We did some print ads last spring, summer about fishing the Lake Champlain region that drove people to this page for more information. So this page had your general information, a great fishing video. Links out to different locations along the lake. These all link out to different stories or pages on the website that help connect the traveler, directly to find more information about what they're interested in. So that went on lake fishing and then different small pond fishing. And then fly fishing on the rivers. And then the one we really want to talk about is the one that was, for fall, we created more of a generic leisure travel fall landing page, and we'll create something very similar for summer. And that's where some of those priorities we talked about earlier. This is where we'd love some feedback. So this was an adventurer's guide to fall in the Lake Champlain region. We had the fall foliage report, which would not be as relevant for summer. And this is actually a great example of where we always have those travel updates, and they link to finding that information. So this focused on hiking, history, mountain biking, and road cycling, agritourism. Those are the 5 key points that were on the fall landing page. So that helps put these topics into perspective. I have too many windows open, so my screen's just bouncing all over. Any thoughts on things that may be missing?
I have a question, Michelle.
Yes.
So I am wondering if there's any database of updated imagery that businesses could use that show people in the region wearing masks or any of the new COVID protocol or anything like that.
I know we did some limited shooting of photos to see what we do have, and make sure, like on that toolkit, there is a media library for the Lake Champlain region, and we can look to see if we can make that connection between any photos that we have available with masks to add those in as well.
Great, thank you.
No problem. Great question.
Michelle, do you think we're done with the screen sharing?
We are.
You can see everybody again.
Yes.
Or everybody's name, actually.
There's a chat. Oh, from Mary Jane. I ended up having so many windows open, I couldn't see anything anymore. Any ideas, thoughts, questions?
I'd just like to say that what you just shared, I think looks really professionally. It's very professionally laid out. I think it's very smart. I like the punny kind of language that you're using. I think it's very attractive to those people who are either discovering Lake Champlain for the first time, our region, or are returning again and want to find new and important ways to, new and innovative ways to access our region. I know that one of my priorities for the town of Essex is to develop our own marketing plan. We don't have a marketing plan in the town of Essex. I know Corey is still potentially on the call. My question for all of you, the experts in the room, is what is the best way for a local town who wants to put together a marketing plan to liaison with the larger region's marketing plan? Certainly we want to be hyper local to our marketing plan, but we don't want to cut off our nose to spite our face. We want to work with Westport, we want to work with Willsboro, and we want to work with the Lake Champlain region as well. Can you give some recommendations on that?
Do you want me to take that, or does someone else want to chime in?
Jason?
Yeah, I'm happy to. So I would actually suggest, first of all, just the biggest thing is keeping Suzanne up to date with kind of what you have going on, because that is by far the simplest and easiest method to kind of keep everybody in the loop. And I think even, keeping Suzanne maybe in those discussions as you develop that plan would be really good. And as we move forward, or as you move forward, then it's a good way to make sure that we're not kind of duplicating efforts, but you also may be creating some resources or other things that we'll be able to just promote as well through the region, which is fantastic. So maybe you have, a new fishing brochure or cycling loops that you're making, or whatever angle you feel is best for your community. We can latch on to those and add those resources to the region site, or link out to them if you have them somewhere else, that sort of thing. So, but things like, you're like, oh, we need really good photos of downtown, let's hire a photographer to do that. Well, we may already have really good photos or be able to go do that shoot for you. So that's the sort of thing you'd want to work really closely with Suzanne so you don't waste your time or resources. And that's probably the best way, so that we can make sure we're not doing the same thing twice, and we can take whatever you've got that you feel is important for the community and just amplify that through the region.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I would encourage is, as we start to develop the brand statement for the Lake Champlain region as a whole, to engage the same team, some of the members of the team that are working on the plan for the town of Essex, so that the tone and language that is built for the Lake Champlain region works in complements. I think the timing is perfect for both initiatives, so that we make sure that from the start that they complement one another, so that they can definitely dovetail and be, town of Essex is part of the Lake Champlain, your Lake Champlain region experience. So.
Yeah, and Suzanne, of course, is going to send the marketing plan as a follow-up to this call. And that's actually not necessarily a bad thing to use as a template to kind of maybe get started on your own and to really give you a good idea of the specific topics we're working on. So that's where you say, oh, I noticed you've got cycling in yours. We think cycling is important to us too. What exactly are you doing for cycling? And then we can work together to make sure we're one, doing the same thing, but also not doing the same thing. If that makes sense.
That totally makes sense. Yeah. Well, thank you to all of you for all of your efforts. It's really professionally laid out, really well done. And I know it doesn't happen overnight. So thank you to all of you for taking on that great big task and for helping out the towns of the Adirondacks to draw people to them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so I think Carly in the chat had requested the links to those two website pages that we reviewed. And I just want to make a note that says you can't find them by Googling them, because they're specific, like seasonal landing pages, and they are kind of like standalone microsites that are really easy for people to navigate through. Like the fall one is not indexed to find it until it is fall. So they aren't like the traditional site where you can find everything via Google.
Carly, is that what you were looking for, or was it the Wayfinder? I wasn't sure.
That was it. Yep.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
Is there a winter landing page? Great question. Yes, it is. I'll put the link there. Donna asked if there was a winter landing page, and yes, there is. So I included that. And Suzanne can include maybe in that follow-up email, the 3 links of the 3 different landing pages for reference.
Yes, be sure to pay attention to the follow-up because it's going to be loaded with resources and information.
Mhm. Any other questions at this time?
Everybody's, let's wrap this up so we can go out and play in the snow. That's
Well, thank you. It's great to see such a great turnout from around the region.
Yes, I'm thrilled. And thank you, Michelle, for doing such a great job putting it all together.
Absolutely. Thank you, Team Roos. Thank you, all the partners in Lake Champlain Region. Have a wonderful rest of your week.
And I'd like to add how important it is with the brand statement coming up that we have engagement by as many people as possible in that process.
All right. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Talk to you
Thank
soon.
you.